It is certainly real. It's using an energy field, a type of anti-gravity effect. And what we probably would say is electrogravitic, which means a type of anti-gravity effect from the electromagnetic forces.
A mysterious discovery in Buga, Valle del Cauca, Colombia, has captured the attention of scientists, researchers, and the world. Stephen Greer has now taken the investigation to a whole new level, promising revelations that could challenge everything we think we know. Strange, unexplained, and unlike anything seen before, this enigmatic object continues to spark curiosity and debate, leaving everyone wondering what secrets it might hold. The sky over Buga. The sky over Buga, Valle del Cauca, Colombia, was calm on the morning of March 2nd, 2025. People were going about their day when something unusual appeared high above the fields. A metallic sphere floated in the air, bright enough to catch the sunlight and strange enough to stop everyone in their tracks. Witnesses raised their phones and began recording as it moved in ways no balloon or drone ever had. It hovered in complete silence, then drifted sideways, then suddenly dropped and held its place as if something inside it was making decisions. More people gathered as it descended. Some said it moved with purpose, almost as if it were studying the land below. A few claimed they saw it brush against a power line. When it touched the cable, a sharp spark flashed and the sphere paused for a moment, as though the contact had changed something inside it. A man named Jose Arias Restrepo was among the first to reach it after it came down near the edge of a rural field. When he lifted it, he felt a strange chill run up his arm. Restrepo later said the object felt cold like a refrigerator, yet not naturally cold. It felt charged, as if it carried an invisible force. At first, he believed it weighed around 2 kilograms. Later, when others measured it, they claimed it weighed as much as 10 kilograms. The weight seemed to shift, almost as if the sphere adjusted itself depending on who held it. Restrepo did not feel well after touching it. He suffered nausea and vomiting, and he said he tasted metal in his mouth that lingered for hours. Troubled by his symptoms, he handed the sphere over to his cousin, David El Potro Velez, who approached it with more caution. When Velez examined the surface, he noticed engravings unlike anything he had seen before. The markings looked like geometric lines mixed with ancient script. Some resembled runes. Others looked similar to ogham, or symbols carved on standing stones from forgotten ages. Nothing seemed random. Every line appeared to have meaning. Locals then tried a simple test. When they poured water on the sphere, the water vanished instantly. It did not sizzle like steam rising from a hot surface. It simply vaporized in a way that looked unnatural, maybe caused by an ionic or electrostatic field around the object. A nearby company that builds metal detectors scanned the sphere and suggested it might have an unusual electrostatic signature, something far stronger than anything they were used to seeing. From a quiet field in Colombia, this mysterious sphere had made its dramatic entrance, yet no one had any idea what hidden technology waited inside it. The sphere in the vault. Once David El Potro Velez took possession of it, he placed the object under strict security. Only a few trusted people were allowed near it. Velez understood that whatever had fallen from the sky was not ordinary metal. He kept it in a controlled room where the temperature and humidity were monitored, so no environmental contamination could interfere with further study. Researchers began their examinations with simple visual checks. What they found made the sphere even more mysterious. The surface had no welds, no seams, and no signs of assembly. It looked like a single piece of metal, smooth and perfect, as if it had been shaped all at once. The lack of joints suggested manufacturing techniques that did not match anything used on Earth today. The sphere measured about 50 centimeters in diameter. It had a metallic shine that looked ordinary from far away, yet up close it showed tiny copper-colored pins arranged in perfect symmetry. These pins were not loose or attached afterward. They were part of the shell itself, embedded with incredible precision. When radiographic teams used X-ray scans, they discovered that each pin connected to delicate filaments inside. These thin structures looked like a network, almost like wiring or fiber optic strands arranged in a complex pattern. The X-ray images revealed even more. Instead of being a solid metal ball, the sphere contained 3 clear internal layers. They formed concentric shells. Deep inside those layers were small microspheres. Some reports said there were 18 of them. These tiny spheres surrounded a central core that looked denser and more structured, almost like a chip or nucleus. The arrangement was too precise to be accidental. The outer shell itself caused even greater surprise. Scientific tests showed the presence of rare earth elements that did not match any known industrial alloy. One report claimed the sphere was made of an aluminium-based alloy, unlike anything produced by modern technology. Embedded within this strange alloy were fiber optic materials woven into the metal as if printed layer by layer. The construction looked similar to advanced 3-dimensional printing, yet far beyond anything humans currently use. Then came the symbols. Etched across the surface were markings that 2 independent linguists studied. According to their findings, the script resembled Proto-Sanskrit. They believed some lines read like a warning about cosmic radiation or a future geophysical event. No one could say how such ancient language ended up on a sphere built with what appeared to be futuristic engineering. Locked away in a vault, the sphere refused to be a simple artifact. Its internal design hinted at something far more advanced. The lab prepares for the truth. The lab that held the sphere in Buga soon became the center of an investigation unlike anything the researchers had ever seen. After the first scans and examinations, scientists turned their attention to the tiny holes on the surface. There were about 31 of them, arranged with mathematical precision. Each opening seemed to lead to an internal anchor point, as if the sphere once contained a network of delicate fibers held in place by a special binding substance. From these small openings, the team carefully extracted a resin-like material. It was pale, brittle, and unlike anything normally found in industrial machinery. The scientists believed it once helped secure internal wiring or optical paths. To prepare it for analysis, the resin underwent ultrasonic cleaning to remove dust, followed by acid treatment to eliminate carbonate materials that might interfere with dating. When the sample was ready, it was sent for carbon-14 testing. According to the reports later shared by investigators, the test was performed at the University of Georgia. The result shocked everyone involved. The resin appeared to be 12,560 years old. That meant it originated at the end of the last ice age, long before recorded history. How could a sphere filled with modern features contain material so ancient? Metallic studies brought even more mystery. Using EDS and other metallurgical tools, researchers discovered the outer shell was made mostly of an aluminium-based alloy that did not match any known mixture used in aerospace, industry, or advanced manufacturing. The metal was clean, uniform, and extremely refined. Trace elements like silicon and manganese appeared in unusual ratios. Electrical tests then showed the sphere had surprising properties. The shell behaved like a natural shield, similar to a Faraday cage, blocking outside electromagnetic energy. If the interior held delicate systems, this shell would have protected them perfectly. Internal imaging revealed even greater complexity. Thin filaments that looked like microscopic optical fibers ran through the layers of the shell. Many of these fibers ended at the copper pins on the surface. The connections resembled a network. Some scientists believed it was meant for data transmission. Others suggested it was designed for energy flow. Either way, the construction pointed to a level of engineering far beyond anything expected from an object found in a rural field. The more tests they performed, the more pressure built around the research team. These discoveries did not simply raise questions, they launched a scientific whirlwind that forced experts to take sides. While experts argued, a powerful voice entered the debate. With it came a theory that changed everything: Stephen Greer's interpretation. As the scientific debate grew louder, Stephen Greer stepped forward and announced that he was now overseeing the investigation. Through the Disclosure Project, he promised complete transparency. He did not want this object hidden away or quietly dismissed. Greer insisted that the world had a right to know what had been discovered in Buga, Valle del Cauca, Colombia. His first clarification was about the age of the resin. He explained that the remarkable 12,560-year date applied only to the resin found inside the small openings of the sphere. It did not automatically mean that the entire structure was that old. Still, the date was shocking. According to the University of Georgia, the resin came from the late Pleistocene era. It was older than many ancient cultures and around 8,000 years older than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Greer said this alone demanded a global scientific response. Greer and his team worked with independent metallurgical labs who reported that the aluminium-based alloy contained rare earth elements arranged in ways that did not match any known human-made alloy. The labs said the metal did not follow documented industrial formulas. Its precise organization suggested an origin that was either lost to history or completely unknown. Greer proposed a controversial idea. He suggested that the sphere might be an ancient device created to detect changes in Earth's magnetic field. It could function as an early warning system meant to activate during periods of planetary instability. The internal fibers and the copper contacts, he said, might serve as a sensor network. Instead of decoration or random wiring, they may have been part of a communications system that once responded to shifts in energy. His interpretation of the symbols added another layer of mystery. Independent researchers had attempted translations. They believed the engravings resembled a form of Proto-Sanskrit. Some lines appeared to describe cosmic radiation. Others seemed to urge a shift in human consciousness. There were even suggestions that the inscription warned of environmental danger. Greer said the message could be a plea from a long-forgotten civilization or from something far beyond our known past. He called for global scientists and political leaders to take this object seriously. According to him, the sphere might be a civilization-level signal. If true, humanity could not afford to ignore it. But just as Greer finished presenting his case to the public, something went wrong. The sphere's handlers suddenly faced pressure from powerful and unseen forces, and the investigation took a darker turn. Inside the scientific debate, as Stephen Greer's interpretation spread across media and social platforms, the scientific world split into two fierce camps. One side believed the sphere found in Buga might represent something ancient and extraordinary. The other side warned that the entire case could be nothing more than a misunderstanding, contamination, or even clever fabrication. Among the loudest skeptics was Julia Mossbridge from the University of San Diego. She cautioned the public not to jump to conclusions. She said the object might simply be a very creative art project, designed with unusual materials to spark curiosity. Her comment drew criticism from believers, but also reminded the public that unusual does not automatically mean extraterrestrial. Many scientists focused on the carbon-14 test. They argued that the age result applied only to the resin extracted from the small openings. Because resin can absorb environmental materials, any contamination could shift the date. Critics noted that the sample contained microscopic marine organisms called foraminifera. These tiny shells could interfere with the reading and make the resin appear far older than it truly was. Another major point of debate was the lack of peer-reviewed research. Much of the data came from press conferences, early summaries, or private labs. Without formal academic papers, many specialists said the claims were interesting but unproven. They wanted independent verification carried out by universities or government laboratories. The translations of the symbols created even more tension. Two researchers believed the engravings matched Proto-Sanskrit, a language from thousands of years ago. Others said the lines were too vague to be trusted. Some critics argued that modern artificial intelligence tools could easily produce forced matches, turning random shapes into supposed ancient text. The metallic composition also came under fire. Reports mentioned rare earth elements, unusual purity, and a structure not seen in known alloys. But metallurgists insisted that more rigorous tests were needed. They wanted mass spectrometry and high-resolution mapping before anyone claimed the alloy was unknown to science. Scientists also questioned Greer's idea of an early warning device. They wanted hard data on magnetic fields, anomalies, and long-term geophysical cycles before they would consider such a theory. The debate was fierce and growing by the day. Yet while experts argued, something even stranger happened. Other spheres began appearing near Buga, hinting that this mystery was far bigger than a single isolated artifact. The unexpected intrusion. Tension increased when the German company, the group that had first run tests on the sphere, announced that they were stepping back from the investigation. They said they had received heavy pressure after making their results public. They decided to hand the sphere over to journalist and investigator Jaime Maussan. They also revealed something unusual. One side of the sphere had soot marks that looked like the aftermath of a small electric discharge. When they cleaned that area, a tiny piece of metal cracked off, suggesting the object had experienced internal stress or some kind of sudden shock. Maussan's team then transported the sphere to Mexico for additional analysis. They said they had proper permission from the original finder Jose, from local authorities, and from the German company itself. However, the move sparked new questions. Who exactly owned the sphere? The laws were unclear. Some worried it was leaving Colombia without proper oversight. Critics claimed the object was being removed from scientific scrutiny. Supporters insisted it was necessary to continue the work. While the sphere traveled, global interest exploded. Reports surfaced that unknown parties, including state-level groups, had offered to purchase or exchange technology for the artifact. The possibility that nations might see the sphere as a strategic object raised new concerns. Was this discovery being viewed as a scientific treasure or as a weapon? Meanwhile, some scientists demanded open access to all data. They wanted peer-reviewed research, transparent testing, and public reporting. Others accused the investigation of secrecy, confusion, and dramatic storytelling. Vélez, one of the primary handlers, claimed he kept the sphere out of government hands because he feared it would disappear into classified storage where no one would ever see it again. As analysis continued, Maussan reported something startling. Under certain applied frequencies, the sphere emitted electromagnetic fields. Stephen Greer and his collaborators suggested that this behavior might hint at a form of non-nuclear energy generation. The idea was speculative, but electrifying. If true, the sphere held technology far beyond anything currently known. Conspiracy theories grew. Some believed governments were trying to hide the object. Others claimed it was being used for profit within the UFO community. Despite the power plays, the sphere's mysteries deepened. Then, something even stranger happened. New spheres began appearing around the same region, a mystery that refuses to settle. The Buga sphere did not simply appear. From the moment it was discovered, it captured global attention, and with each new report, the mystery only deepened. Soon, sightings of similar spheres began to emerge across the Valle del Cauca region and even farther afield. What started as a local curiosity quickly became a phenomenon that puzzled scientists, researchers, and the public alike. Some even began drawing parallels to past UFO sightings, from the mysterious orbs over Phoenix in 1997 to the glowing spheres reported in Japan and Brazil over the last few decades, suggesting that the Buga sphere could be part of a global pattern of unexplained aerial phenomena. It was not only experts who took notice. Paragliders soaring over the mountains, farmers at work in the early morning, hikers in remote areas, and casual observers all claimed to have captured footage of glowing or metallic orbs strikingly similar to the original sphere. One particularly intriguing sighting came from Yumbo, just minutes from Buga. The video went viral, sparking intense speculation and debate worldwide, echoing the excitement and controversy that followed historical UFO events decades ago. As more sightings and footage surfaced, theories became increasingly ambitious. Some independent researchers proposed that the spheres were not isolated objects, but components of a larger, interconnected system, possibly responding to environmental triggers or shifts in Earth's magnetic field. Could these spheres, like the mysterious lights reported in Hessdalen, Norway, or the Foo Fighters of World War II, form a network with intelligent or reactive properties? If so, it might represent a level of technological complexity far beyond anything humans have encountered before. Even the engravings on the Buga sphere added to the intrigue. Greer's team argued that the symbols were deliberate and meaningful, not random scratches. Some researchers suggested the markings could correspond to star constellations, hidden astronomical patterns, or cycles repeating across millennia. If these interpretations are correct, the implications for science are profound, potentially rewriting what we know about ancient knowledge, lost civilizations, and the limits of human technology. As more spheres are reported and studied, researchers could uncover entirely new principles, echoing the fascination that historical UFO events inspired in physicists, pilots, and engineers alike. Relic of a lost civilization, a cosmic warning, or something entirely beyond comprehension, the Buga sphere has become a symbol not only of the unknown past, but of the tantalizing possibilities that lie ahead for humanity and science alike. Its secrets could reshape how we perceive the universe and our place within it. What do you think about these mysterious spheres? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your theories.